I was here Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and I come in here and talked with all the folks in here and shot photos of them. And I saw mostly smiles from these folks, and not very many frowns. And I know the folks that work here in Elizabethtown. I'm from Elizabethtown, and they have done a really super job. And you've been all over the state of Kentucky. Is this sort of thing going on all over the state?
It's amazing to see how people are reacting to this. I mean, folks are sitting in shelters. Some of them are dark, cold, and they are so thankful that people have come together to provide them some help and some warmth and food and shelter. Folks are really pulling together in this crisis, and Kentuckians, you know, are a resilient people, and they care about each other, and that's really showing. That's coming out when you go through a disaster like this.
Well, Governor Beshear, I want to thank you for coming to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, Pritchard Community Center. Thanks a million. It's
well,
really
you're welcome.
appreciated.
You're welcome.
Governor, just if you could, going back to the conversation a moment ago, your conversation just a moment ago with the local officials here, what did you tell them, and what in turn did they tell you?
Well, of course, we're sharing information and updating each other on the status of things here, and I was updating them on the status of things all across the state. You know, we started out, when this thing hit us, we ended up with over 700,000 people without power across the state. This has been the broadest and the biggest disaster really in modern times in Kentucky. We have now that down to about 410,000 still out of power. But this is going to be a long, drawn-out process for many. A lot of our water treatment facilities are down. Fortunately, the water's back up here in Hardin County, and people are able to have drinking water. But a lot of areas you don't have that. You don't have any heat. You don't have any power. You don't have any telephone service. One of the things that I did just yesterday is called up basically the entire Army National Guard and parts of the Air National Guard. We're going to have about 4,600 National Guard men and women activated and out there helping with this disaster. One of the first things they're going to do is basically conduct a door-to-door canvass in every one of these counties where it hasn't been done to check on our people. You know, so many people are in their homes, they have no way of communicating because there's no telephone service, and even the cell service is down. They can't get out because of the snow and ice, and so we're going to be going door to door and checking on them. If everything's fine, that's good, but there's going to be some people who need some help, and so we're going to be doing that. We're going to try to do that in every county, work our way through. We're working with FEMA to bring in these big generators that we're going to use to hook up to any shelters that don't still have heat, nursing homes. I think we've got that down to a real small number now, and then they're going to go on to these water and sewer treatment plants and get those back up with some generator power.
What did the local officials relay to you in terms of concerns or needs they're looking at from the state at this point?
Well, obviously they told me what had gone on already, and I'll tell you, the folks here in Hardin County have done what they've done all over the state. They've jumped in and pulled in and worked together. The spirit of Kentuckians is just amazing. Even in the face of this big disaster, folks have come together, they've helped their neighbors, they've helped their friends. The American Red Cross has been fantastic, and going through this shelter, you can see how thankful people are for having this kind of facility to take care of them during a disaster like this. We're going to continue to work with your local EMS and local officials on debris clearance. That's a big concern now because it's going to take a long time just to get the debris up, and they're going to need some assistance all through the county to do that. And obviously we talked with the electric folks to see where they were and how that's going. They've got a lot of the county up, but you know, then you get to the real hard parts and it takes longer. So I think they're saying that it might be 7 to 10 days before everybody's power in Hardin County is back on.
Governor, I was just down in Hardin County, and they've got many of the Guard people are preparing to take off. They haven't yet, and it sounded like there was some delay in getting the troops here. I mean, any reports of that from your end?
Well, the only delay we're experiencing is the communications problem that we have. In a lot of these counties, you don't have any phone service, so it's kind of hard to get that guards person to know that he's been called up because he doesn't have a telephone right now. So we're getting that word out. As I say, we're going to have about 4,600. Yesterday, by about 5 p.m. in the afternoon, we already had about 2,500 of those that knew about it and were into the units and into the armories. And that number will grow on up as soon as we can get the word out completely in all the areas.
Governor, are there any more concerns about fuel shortages? I know some people, as people have mentioned, have had trouble getting through to certain of the electric co-ops. What are the specifics that National Guard or some of the other agencies are going to do to sort of correct those problems?
Well, the fuel situation we are addressing in that FEMA is going to be bringing in huge amounts of fuel. Now that fuel is not for your commercial stations. You know, it is for making sure that these generators that are running the water treatment facilities and your nursing homes and all of the hospitals will be able to continue to run and keep up until the utility is back up and the electric is back on. We're obviously going to keep working with the utilities. We've had National Guard helicopters flying the lines and finding the big breaks in the utility lines so that the companies can get there faster and fix those. Obviously there are thousands of lines going to each house, but until we fix the big problems, the small problems, that won't help us. So it's going to be a long haul for us. There is so much work to do, but we've got a whole lot of people at it. We've thrown every resource we've got at it. We're going to continue to do that until everybody is back in their homes and back on their feet.
Last week you said that money was no object. Given the fact that the state has a fiscal shortfall, how important was it to come out ahead of the game and ask for that federal assistance fairly quickly?
Well, obviously the quicker that flows, the better off we'll all be, but we're not dependent upon the federal money coming in as we're doing what we're doing. We'll get reimbursed for what we do. And we'll work through that at the appropriate time, and the local officials will too. And I've been telling them, look, just get out there, pull out all the stops, let's get it done, and then we'll work together and we'll get reimbursed and we'll all be all right.
So don't worry about the money right now.
Don't worry about the money right now. I mean, the lives and the safety of our people are paramount, and that's what the job of government is. That's the most basic job we've got, and so that's what we're concentrating on, and the money will come. We'll get reimbursed and everything will be all right. You know, this is a first-class operation. The American Red Cross and the local officials coming together, putting this together. Folks here are very happy. Obviously, they want to go home. They would rather be someplace else other than here, but they're so thankful that the folks here in Hardin County have come together and provided this kind of thing for them.
Governor, a lot of people still in Hardin County without electricity. Of course, Grayson County, from what we understand, has taken a major hit off the storm. What's your message to those people who will be hearing this maybe later this afternoon and into tomorrow morning?
We're going to keep working until we get them all back up and all back on their feet and all back in their homes. I know that Grayson County was hard hit. I do understand that the American Red Cross had a couple of shelters open the first day there. They had a National Guard unit right there in Litchfield that we activated, so they had the availability of that. But it's been tough. It's been tough, and it's not going to be over anytime soon. You know, we got to work through this.
Mr. Beshear.
Yes, ma'am.
I voted for you, and I want to thank you so much
for
the job you're doing.
You're so kind. I tell you, we've got a lot of work still to do, but we'll get it done.
I know you will. You're a good man.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Thanks.